BBA 104, Indian Ethos and Business Ethics, Unit 11, Values. Values can be defined as those things that are valued by someone. In other words, values are considered important by an individual or organization. Examples include courage, honesty, freedom, innovation, etc. Human values are the core values that make up for personality and define how we act in life. These values are very important as they make up who we are and are what guide us through life. The values that we hold determine who we want to be, as well as how we live our lives and the decisions we make on everyday basis. Without these values, our lives would become chaotic and there would be no meaning behind any of the things that we do or say. All humans have these values in some way or another, and it's up to us to choose which value we hold most dear. The 20th century philosopher Martha Nussbaum puts forth a list of 10 innate human values: truth, beauty, justice, courage, temperance, wisdom, love, equality, modesty, and hope. These are values that all humans should try to uphold as they go through their day-to-day lives. It is also important for society at large to recognize these values and make them explicit in social systems, institutions, and organizations so that people will always know what they stand for. Values are the beliefs of an individual or a social group about what is held important that motivate people to act one way or another. Equal rights for all, merit above all else, dignity of labor, etc. are representatives of such values. If we talk about the relevance of human values, the importance of human values is what it provides an understanding of what people find to be important in their lives. There are multiple aspects of human values. Like, for example, integrity, morality, and benevolence are all aspects of human values. The value system is not static and can change depending on the context or social situation. This means that some people have a certain set of values for one context but may have completely different values in another context. One specific aspect of values is the idea of self esteem. Self esteem has two forms: internal and external self esteem. External self esteem deals with how others perceive you, while internal self esteem deals with how you perceive yourself. If someone has high external esteem, they want to make sure other people think highly of them, as well as whereas if someone has high internal esteem, they only want other people to like them because they do that themselves. Human values are the things that a person feels are most important in life. For example, family is a human value for some people, while success is a human value for others. The characteristics of human values are what they mean to different people and how they can be applied to real life situations. People may hold one or more human values as their core values. It is not necessary to have one set of human values because these can change over the time or because one might not have thought about them before. We call this cognitive learning. So, cognitive learning is a concept from organizational behavior as well, which is in sync with if we talk about business ethics here. What we mean by cognitive learning is as a child is born, the parents or the social setup that he is being brought up in have a certain value system. He is taught that this is good, this is right, this is wrong, this is bad. Now, the child accepts that value system and agrees to what has been told to him. But as he grows up, he goes out in the world, he has certain social conditioning that happens to him. When he sees people around him and he notices that there are people with different value system, he might accept or reject some of the things from their value system. And together, after growing and learning and observing, at a certain age, every person grows up to develop a unique value system of their own, which will partially belong to the social uh, state, social setup that he belongs to, the family, relatives, neighbors, etc., to partially to the experiences he has had on his own. There might be learnings that come from there. Third, partially from the different value system of people around him that he might have liked or disliked. Like if you dislike someone's value system, you also ensure that you do not inculcate that within you. So somewhere that is also developing your unique value system. So that is what how cognitive learning, a concept from organizational behavior, is in sync here. So, human values as a topic that is still not completely understood. There are many definitions of human values, but the most commonly accepted definition is that human values are perspectives or priorities that people use to give meaning to their actions and experiences. The nature of human values can be seen as complex and abstract because it deals with how humans experience the world. In this sense, it is an anthropological perspective. People's experience shape the way they view things, and in turn, these views help define human values. These values are then passed down through socialization. It should be noted that these values may have different meanings for each individual person based on who they interact with and what they say. This is exactly what I was trying to convey with the thought, with the concept that I discussed from organizational behavior with cognitive theory, cognitive learning, that human values is at the end all about your perspective and your individual experiences. That's what defines your good, your right, your bad, your wrong. Now let's talk about formation of values. The first and foremost role is played by the family in inculcating values. Family is the earliest and without question the most influential agent of socialization. Socialization via the family goes from cradle to grave. The father, mother, siblings, and grandparents become the immediate agents of socialization. Children pick up behavioral traits from all those who are in his or her immediate environment. Values are imbibed by children by observing what the parents do and not just what the parents say. The power of family is strongest during infancy and toddler years. During the teenage, the influence of peer group and media usually overshadows the power of the family. However, the family returns as a predominant agent of socialization during the adult years, with the roles of marital partner and parents becoming prominent. There can be difference in the values between between family to family based on their socio-economic statuses. So, when we talk about role of family in inculcating values, definitely at the nascent stage, at the most nascent stage, you are introduced to your family. Even the way, if I take a very small example, certain families eat by their hands, and certain families eat by spoons, right? And if you look about that, it's just a very normal day to day activity. But if both the families come together, they might feel a contradiction between how they've been leading life. Now that is a practice that we do, and to one family it might seem ki they're doing wrong, they're not doing it the right way, they're eating by their hands, it's not correct. For the other families, they would feel ki why are they moving, why are they departing farther away from their roots, we had always been eating from our hands, why are they using spoons, they are doing wrong. So that is the kind of thing, from the smallest understanding of right and wrong, that comes from family. But once the child starts growing up in their teenage, the family could only inform them, prepare them for certain experiences. Once the child moves out of the house, they will have experiences of their own. If I give a very crass example, a child will not be prepared for a heartbreak once they're with their family. They will always be loved, they will never be banished, they will never be said that I don't love you anymore or you're a changed person. But when the child moves out of the house, they might get themselves into this situation, and that is also a learning path of its own. Now when the child gets into it, he might feel attacked, he might feel betrayed, and now he will develop a certain understanding of a pure feeling as love, which was not taught to him by his family. Now that is how at the age of teenage a child develops his own value system, and makes it as unique as to every person themselves. But now, once the teenage is over, the child has had all his new experiences and now comes back to the stage where the family can guide him. That is when we talk about the Grihastha ashram from the age of 25 to 50, where the family has wisdom to share, has their virtues to share. And that's again when family becomes a predominant agent of value inculcation in the person. We can't refer to them as a child anymore, but yeah, that's again when family becomes an important agent of value system development. So, the importance of family in developing anyone's value system will always be at the top, because if you look at it, they are the predominant agent from the age of 0 till, let's say, 13, and then again the predominant agent from the age of 25 to 50. So more or less it's just 15 years that the child overlapping here and there, that they are developing values on their own. So the importance and role of family, and that's why we commonly use the phrase that the apple does not fall far from the tree, because the value system will always be very similar to what the other family members have. The second agent of formation of values are the educational institutions. Schools and colleges are important agencies in the process of socialization and thus can help a lot in inculcating values. School is the first place where the individual values get compared with the larger value system of the society. The curriculum imparts the values of accepted behavior. A school student learns not only from the official curriculum but also from the social curriculum of peer groups. Values are also imbibed from the hidden curriculum. Example, don't talk while a teacher is taking the class, etc. This is the place where one learns the values of punctuality and discipline. Values education is an explicit attempt to teach about values. There are five basic approaches to value education, that is, inculcation, moral development, analysis, action learning, and values clarification. So, now if I talk about educational institutions, that is the first time the child is let free and allowed to judge things and perform activities as per their sensibility. So, when the child goes to the school, let's say um, there is a student who comes from a extremely patriarch family, and there is another student who comes from a liberal family. the pat- let's name them child A and child B. The one who's coming from the patriarch family is called child A, and the one who's coming from a liberal and accepting equalist family is called child B. Now child A comes to the school and very casually passes, or let's say college, and very casually passes a sexist comment. It will seem very okay to child A to pass that comment because he has grown up inculcating those values in him, which might seem very offensive to child B because he has been consciously taught that this is not to be done. So, this is what refers to your social curriculum. Nobody is trying to teach child A something or child B something. It is not the part of their curriculum to teach them sexism or what is offensive, what is not. But if these two are friends, they will communicate to each other. They will try to exchange ideas and thoughts and values. Child A might learn something new, and there is still a possibility that it might start becoming okay to child B. Not the best case scenario, but that is also a possibility. And that is what social curriculum stands for. The child learns a lot of things with the group he is in. That's why we say company makes a man, because that's where the exchange of your value system, thoughts, beliefs is happening. And if you are in the company which is not helping you develop, which is one of our basic dharmas, which we have discussed in the previous units, that we have to work on the growth of our soul, our internal development. If my group is not being fruitful and providing me towards that, pushing me towards that, or giving me the knowledge that I should gather from my peers, it's not the group that I should be in. And that's why we take time in choosing which schools to send our children to, what curriculum to do, watch out on their friends, because social curriculum happens is a uh, what should I refer to as, social curriculum is a major player in value system development. Now the text tells us a very what nicely identified five basic approaches to value education. First is inculcation. Inculcation is when you see it and you start doing it. You're observing and doing, observing and doing. We, all of us, come from different religions. We follow different ways of worshipping the God. For some, worshipping is just a matter of routine. For some, worshipping means the grandeur of worship. How big is my diya? How long is my puja going on? How long am I investing in it? Now, nobody comes and teaches you or gives you an orientation on how to do it. You observe your mother or your father doing it, performing the rituals in a certain manner, and that's what you start thinking is how I should worship. I should spend at least 25 minutes in front of the temple. Or for some other, it would be I should just touch the feet of the goddess statue and leave for my work, for my school, anything. But I should follow the routine. Though this way, a person has decided how to worship. This is called inculcation. You see it, you do it. Then is moral development. Now, morality, as we have discussed in the previous units, is talking about good or bad. There will always be a gray when it comes to morality because it can change as per uh, situation, time, or what you are responding to. But moral development is talking about the core value system. Like, beating someone or hitting someone is not a right thing to do. Even out of anger, even out of despise or disguise, or that someone has done something wrong to the other person. But we know hitting is not the solution. And that is a consistent moral value that we have across the human race. So moral development talks about those core values that are not dynamic in nature, that should stay static in whichever social format you are in. Then analysis. Analysis is when you have been through your own share of experiences and someone says, no, this is not right. You do not accept it upfront. You question that, why is it not right? What is wrong in this? What have I done wrong? Whom have I offended? Whom am I being unjust to? That is analysis. So that is another way of value education. Then action learning. Action learning is, if I take up the example again of the child A and B that I said, that one is coming from a patriarch family, the child A, and one who's coming from a liberal family, child B. Child A might be seeing that women of the house have to perform certain activities and it is okay. Child B might be seeing that there is collaboration in their household and forcing gender roles on somebody is not correct. So they're observing it in their actions around them and they develop it within their value systems as well. And fifth, this values clarification. This is when you have an ethics coach or a person who's communicating you the understanding of values. This is of utmost importance when you are trying to convince a person who is in his shaping years that why should you be ethical, why you should be moral. The answer or the logic behind the values or the force that we are pushing on them should be given to them to make them accept it on their own. Because when we force them to accept it, ki nahi, this is the way to do it, you should do it, that is not going to stick to a person for a very long time. When something seems justified to you, when something seems this is the right thing to do, you within yourself feel that it is correct, that's when you accept it. And value clarification works as the most important way in that. Which brings us to the last value developing unit, which is the society. Society can also inculcate a lot of values in people. The elements of the society who have great influence in people include friends, neighbors, media, films, religion, leaders, government, etc. There is a lot of questioning done. We are in the 21st century. We know that the movies show something that is happening in the society, be it right, be it wrong, according to people's perspectives. And then there is a school of thought that if you're showing something that is wrong in the society in the movies, to some people it will start becoming more acceptable and correct. Why do we have these discussions? Because society is an important player in developing the value system. So if everything will be shown in the movies as acceptable, or that's how you get a girl, that's how you convince the father, or that's how you talk to a person, if we show it at a level, at the mass level of a movie, people will start justifying it, that if he could do it in the movie, why could I not do it in real life? Because at the end, the basic human need is validation. Whatever act that we are doing, whatever things that we're supposed to do, we want validation, we want justification that what we did is right. And we will find proofs and examples from across the planet to ensure that it happens. That is why this school of thought that comes and says that this is not how we are supposed to do it, this is not supposed to show in the movie, comes into picture, because society also shapes a lot of values within us. Talking about the importance of values in business. Firstly, guiding decision. Making values provides a framework for ethical and strategic decisions that, as we discussed in the previous unit as well. When faced with complex choices and organizations, values help leaders and employees align their actions with what the company stands for, ensuring consistency and integrity in decision making. Defining company culture. Values contribute to the creation of a positive and cohesive company culture. They set the tone for how employees treat each other and customers and stakeholders. A strong and positive culture promotes teamwork, innovation, and employee engagement. Attracting and retaining talent. Companies with clear and appealing values sorry tend to attract like-minded individuals who are passionate about the organization's mission. Employees who resonate with the company's values are more likely to be motivated, committed, loyal, leading to higher retention rates and reduced turnover. Enhancing brand reputation. Values shape a company's reputation and brand ethics. Business that demonstrate a commitment to ethical practices, social responsibility, and sustainability can build a positive brand image that resonates with consumers and attracts a loyal customer base. Building trust. Ethical values build trust among stakeholders, including customers, investors, and partners. When a business operates in alignment with its stated values, it demonstrates transparency and reliability, which enhances credibility and fosters long term relationships. Innovation and adaptability. Values can foster a culture of innovation and adaptability. When the employee feels empowered to think creatively and challenge the status quo, it can lead to new ideas, processes, products that drive business growth. Crisis management and resilience. During challenging times, values provide a compass to navigate through crisis and uncertainties. Businesses grounded in strong values are better equipped to weather storms, make difficult decisions, and maintain their integrity when facing adversity. Customer loyalty and satisfaction. Companies that prioritize values often resonate with their target audience, leading to increased customer loyalty and satisfaction. Consumers are more likely to support businesses that align their personal beliefs and values. Long term success. Values contribute to the sustainability and longevity of a business. Organizations that prioritize values tend to make decisions that consider the long term impact on stakeholders, the environment, and society, which can lead to sustained success. Community engagement. Values guide a company's interaction with the community and society at large. By actively participating in philanthropy, volunteering, and social initiatives, business can positively impact their local and global communities, earning goodwill and respect. Now, let's talk about factors influencing business ethics. Sorry. First, personal code of ethics. A person's personal code of ethics, which is what one considers moral, is the prime responsible factor influencing his behavior. For example, Ratan Tata, chairman of Tata Group, is known for his personal code of ethics that leads to high brand value of Tata Group and employee satisfaction. Second, legislation. It is already stated that the government will intervene and enact laws only when the businessmen become too unethical and selfish and totally ignore their responsibility to society. No society can tolerate such misbehavior continuously. It will certainly apply pressure on the government, and the government consequently has no other substitute to prohibit such inefficient behavior of the businessman. Leadership. If the leader leads in ethical ways and motivates the employees, so the employees will perform in legal ways when it will be beneficial for the company and for the employees also. Leader plays an important role in business ethics because the leader is a person who can mold the organization. Government rules and regulations. Laws support government regulations regarding working conditions, product safety, statutory warnings, etc. These provide some strategies to the business managers for figuring out what is acceptable or recognized standards and practices. Fifth, ethical code and policy of the company. When a company grows larger, its standards of ethical conduct also rises. Any unethical behavior or conduct on the part of the company shall endanger its established reputation, public image, and goodwill. Hence, most companies are very cautious in this respect. They issue specific strategies to their subordinates regarding the dealings of the company. Sixth, social pressures. Social forces and pressures have a considerable influence on ethics in business. If a company supplies substandard products and gets involved in unethical conduct, the consumers will become indifferent towards the company. Such refusals shall apply pressure on the company to act honestly and strike strictly to business ethics. Sometimes society itself may turn against a company. For example, family, friends, colleagues, neighbor, and the media. Seventh, the ethical climate of the industry. The modern industry today is working in a more and more competitive atmosphere. Hence, only those firms which strictly adhere to the ethical code can retain their position unaffected in their line of business. When other firms in the same industry are strictly attached to the ethical standards, the firm should also perform up to the level of others. If the company's performance is below that of other companies in the same industry, it cannot survive in the field in long run. Internal and There are certain internal factors also influencing business ethics, which are employees and manager. Until you are one person show, your employees are an important part of your company's internal environment. Your employees should be good at their jobs, whether it's writing code or selling products to unknown people. Managers should be good at handling lower level employees, superintending other parts of internal environment, even if others everyone's capable and talented. Internal politics and conflicts can ruin a good company. Second, money and resources. The lack of money and resources can also decide whether your company survives or dissolves. When the cash resources of a company are too limited, it affects the number of people you can recruit, the quality of your equipment, and the amount of advertising you can buy. If you have adequate amount of cash, you have a lot more opportunity to grow and expand your business. Third, a company culture. A company's internal culture contains the values and attitudes and prioritizes its employees live by. A competitive culture where every employee competes with one another creates a different environment for a company that points out collaboration and teamwork. Typically, company culture flows from top to bottom, and hence, a good leader, as we discussed above, can always help in developing an ethical environment in the company. With this, we have come to the end of the unit. Thank you.